Some people walk into a room and instantly notice what everyone else completely misses. Not the obvious stuff, not the loudest person, not the expensive shoes, but the tiny shift in someone's tone, the awkward smile that doesn't feel real, the silence between two people that says way more than words ever could. And weirdly, these people are often called overthinkers. But what if they're not overthinking at all? What if they're just seeing reality on a deeper level? Psychology suggests that some people naturally pick up hidden patterns, emotional signals, and subtle details others overlook. It's like their brain is running on Ultra HD while everyone else is watching life in 480p. These people often have high observational intelligence. They notice body language, energy changes, inconsistencies, and micro-expressions without even trying. For example, while most people hear, "I'm fine," they hear, "I'm definitely not fine, but I don't want to talk about it." It's basically human lie detection without the fancy FBI equipment. And honestly, it can feel like a superpower and a curse. Because seeing more often means understanding more. And understanding more sometimes means realizing things you wish you didn't. Like noticing fake friendships, hidden jealousy, manipulation, or realizing someone's good intentions come with invisible strings attached. Fun, right? This heightened awareness usually comes from a combination of emotional intelligence, pattern recognition, and past experiences, especially people who've gone through difficult situations. Their brains often become wired to scan for subtle signs of danger, change, or dishonesty. In simple terms, when life forces you to read between the lines, you get very good at it. That's why many deeply perceptive people can sense tension before anyone says a word. They'll walk into a family dinner and instantly know, "Oh wow, Uncle Raj and Dad definitely argued before we got here." Meanwhile, everyone else is just focused on the biryani. Their minds constantly connect dots. A slight pause, a strange look, a repeated behavior, a pattern forms, and patterns rarely lie. Psychologists call this thin slicing, the brain's ability to make quick judgments based on subtle details. Basically, some people can read the whole story from one sentence. But here's the catch. Being this perceptive can also be exhausting. Because when you notice everything, you can't really unsee it. You notice when someone's energy changes. You notice forced conversations. You notice when people pretend. You notice when someone secretly feels left out. And sometimes you just want to shut your brain off and enjoy life like everyone else. But nope, your brain says, "Did you see the way she blinked after that question? Something's off." It's like having an internal detective that never sleeps. This is why highly observant people often need more alone time. Not because they hate people, but because their brains process so much information that social interactions can become mentally draining. They're not antisocial. They're overstimulated. And despite what others think, they're not always judging. They're simply noticing. There's a huge difference. In fact, many people who see what others don't are incredibly empathetic. Because they don't just hear words, they feel emotions behind them. They can often sense sadness hidden behind humor, stress behind anger, or insecurity behind arrogance. It's why they might trust their intuition more than surface appearances. And surprisingly, their intuition is often right. Not magic, not mind reading, just advanced subconscious pattern recognition. Your brain stores thousands of subtle experiences, and sometimes it recognizes danger or truth before your conscious mind catches up. So when someone says, "I don't know why, but something feels off," there's often real psychology behind that. Now, this doesn't mean perceptive people are always correct. Sometimes high awareness can turn into anxiety, where the brain sees threats that aren't actually there. So yes, not every unread text message is a sign of emotional collapse. Sometimes people are just busy. But overall, people who notice what others miss often live in a deeper psychological reality. They read context. They read behavior. They read emotional subtext. While others focus on what's being shown, they focus on what's being hidden. And in today's world, that's rare. Because most people are distracted, scrolling, reacting, consuming. But the truly observant? They're analyzing, quietly, like emotional detectives with Wi-Fi. So if you've ever felt like you notice small details others ignore, if you can sense fake energy instantly, if you often predict outcomes before they happen, you may not be too sensitive. You may simply have a mind trained to perceive beyond the surface. And that's powerful, because people who see what others don't often understand the world in ways others can't. They recognize truth faster. They avoid deception sooner. And they often protect themselves better emotionally. Sure, it can be tiring. Sure, it can feel lonely. But it also means you possess something valuable. The ability to see beyond appearances. So next time someone calls you too observant, just smile. Because while they're busy looking, you're actually seeing.